The marketplace moves faster than we could have ever imagined. Right now, as of this recording, mankind has never operated or functioned at a faster rate since the dawn of creation. I'm going to share with you how you can adapt to this ever-changing marketplace, future-proof your career, and never have to worry about finding a job again. Come on back. You don't want to miss this. This could be the most important video you've ever watched. How's it going, Nez Nation? It's so good to see you. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to who I am, I'm Professor Nez, your personal branding coach, executive career coach, online business strategist, helping individuals and businesses just like you advance their career, grow their online business by building a standout personal brand so they can earn more, grow smarter, and stress a whole lot less. You want to definitely consider subscribing to this channel. I would love it if you could smash that like button and smash that smash button, as those kooky little YouTubers say all the time. It really helps us with the algorithm. And consider subscribing, because I am busting out bone marrow content. I mean, the best content on planet Earth. Earth, not even Earth, Earth. When it comes to advance your career, growing your brand, building your online presence, living the life that you always wanted to, thriving both personally and professionally. We've got everything you need. And I'm going to leave links in the description to other videos related to what I'm talking about. I've got an entire playlist on mindset mastery. I've got an entire playlist on career advice, LinkedIn branding. I mean, the whole works. So please consider subscribing. Okay, let's jump right into this. This video was inspired by a future guest. Well, actually, he might already have been a guest by the time you're watching this, to the Nez Nation Live podcast. And yes, we do have a live stream podcast that is one of the top rated, over 100 reviews on Apple Podcasts. It is the greatest university on business, branding, career advancement, job search, online presence you could ever imagine, that all you need to do is plug in your earbuds. It's absolutely capital F-R-E-E free. You got to go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. But this is inspired by Mr. Jeff Gotthelf, who is an author, speaker, and coach, who he came out with an article in the Harvard Business Review, and I found some of the concepts. I'm going to go over those 5 ways right now, how you can future-proof your career. I found some of those concepts to be very resonant with the message that I constantly advocate here on the channel and on my platform, on my podcast, everywhere, on LinkedIn Live. And I wanted to share them with you guys, because I know you guys will get a lot out of it, and give you kind of my take, my spin over 28 years in this game, in this space, what I think of these 5 core concepts that he has shared. And I'll leave a link to his book in the description down below. Jeff, if you're watching, this video was inspired by you. I talk about these things all the time, and I'm here to share them with the awesome Nez Nation audience. That's you guys. And so I want to get right into it and talk about what these 5 core concepts are. So before I do, I just want to say that, as I stated in the opening intro of this video, it is so important that you stay abreast and understand that if you think that you can rest on your laurels, if you think that you're actually secure in the job that you have right now, that to me is a recipe for disaster. One of the things that I always advocate to my clients, I always advocate to my students, I'm trying to instill in my kids. They're a little young, cocky, and thick-headed. So different from the way I was when I was younger. And it's so important to really stay keyed in to what's happening in your industry, what's happening in your landscape, and try to always be learning, right? ABL, always be learning. Otherwise, you're destined to fall. I really truly believe that, because one thing that we know for certain is nothing is certain, especially your job security. So I want to kind of just give a macro perspective before I jump into these 5 ways to future-proof your career, that it's really important to kind of constantly keep yourself malleable, flexible, curious, constantly learning new and innovative ways to stay on top of your industry, to stay on top of the latest innovations, because that really is going to be the crucial key more than anything else I can talk about. And if you don't understand that concept first, these 5 ways to future-proof your career are not going to mean anything. So that's number 1, okay? Maybe call that a bonus. Okay, let's jump into this. So the 5 ways that you can future-proof your career. The first one is entrepreneurialism. And this is, again, taken from Jeff, and I've talked about this all the time. And you might be thinking, what in the world, Nez, is entrepreneurialism? Well, entrepreneurialism is a mindset. And how he defines it is it's a mindset that you adopt whereby you proactively put yourself and your ideas out in the open in an effort to attract opportunities, land them, and turn them into successful ventures. This is your life, your business, your employment. You've got to think about this challenge like an entrepreneur. Who is my target audience? What problems can I help them solve? What's the most effective way for me to provide service to them? You know, I've said this before, and some of you might be thinking, my God, he's going to say it again. And yes, I am. Don't think of yourself, when you're looking for employment or even maintaining your employment, don't think of yourself as an employee looking for candidacy from an employer. Think of yourself as a business of one selling your services to the right employer who's willing to pay the right compensation for your value. The reason why I think that is so important is because when you put yourself in that mindset, you really adopt what Jeff's talking about here with concept number 1, core way step number 1, entrepreneurialism, which is you cannot survive. I've been an entrepreneur since I've been a kid, helping my mother with her leather manufacturing business. You cannot succeed as a business person, as an entrepreneur, if you don't cater everything to the end user. I think the same thing goes for employment. Most people, when they go and apply for a job, or most people when they go on an interview, they're always thinking what they can get. What is my pay? What is my benefits? What is my vacation time? When do I get? It's always I, when it should always be, if you reverse that mindset and you always think about how you can be serving them, that's going to pay massive dividends for you. And so this first concept and first way I 100% agree with, and I advocate this on my channel all the time. Keep that mindset of service. Keep that mindset of, okay, you need a VP of marketing, for example. Let me find out what's going on. Let me do my research. Let me do my due diligence. Let me find out exactly what you guys need and how my values, how my skills can align with that and help you to take your division, your department, your company to the next level. How can I solve your problem? The only reason, don't forget this, Nez Nation, this is huge. The only reason anybody wants to hire you is because they have a headache. You need to be Excedrin. You need to solve that headache immediately. Don't make it about yourself. Always make it about them. Entrepreneurialism is a survival instinct. I've said this before. I think there's a reason why they say that 90% of businesses fail within the first year. The reason is because most people have no clue what it takes to run a business. They see all these people on Instagram and YouTube flashing yachts and coconuts and islands and all these things, and Mr. Beast handing out hundreds of thousands of dollars. Mr. Beast never went to school. He doesn't have a W-2 or 9-to-5 job. He's just a creator. He's a business owner. He's an online business owner. He must be, rolling in the dough, just putting himself out there. I mean, it's completely insane to subscribe that this is going to be the way it's going to turn out for everyone. It's just not. First of all, Mr. Beast, it took him 10 years just to get to where he is now to finally sustain an actual business based on his platform, his YouTube channel. It takes unbelievable grit. It takes unbelievable determination. When you're a W-2 worker, there's a clock that you actually punch in and punch out of. Maybe not an actual physical one like they used to have in the old days, but a metaphorical one. There is no such thing when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a business owner. You're always on the clock. you're always now, especially now with the hyper connectivity that we live in now, you're always checking email. I'm checking emails till 2 a.m. I'm responding to clients. I'm checking and seeing what's happening in the world around me, trying to, stay on top of things, keep myself on my toes, always be learning. You want to future-proof your career? Don't ever rest on your laurels. Don't ever get complacent. Catch yourself when you get complacent. Catch yourself when you get too satisfied, because that's when you're headed for a fall. So having that entrepreneurial mindset, I completely agree with Jeff. Number 2, the number 2 way for you to future-proof your career, he talks about self-confidence and putting yourself out there. And this has a lot to do with, I have a lot of videos, I'll leave some links in the description, talking about how most people are impeded by believing in themselves because they feel that there's so many other people. We call this market saturation. There's so many other people doing what they want to do that they figure, what's the point of me even trying? And they have zero confidence. They have zero belief in themselves that they could actually bring, a unique perspective. And so really, what he's talking about here with self-confidence, and I'm going to translate this to, being a personal branding coach. It's about putting yourself out there, communicating your story to the world, letting people know, demonstrating who you are, why people should pay attention to you, and how you can solve their problems. Kind of relates to number 1. And that's building a personal brand. That's putting yourself out there. That's writing articles, creating videos that demonstrate how you can serve. Maybe even doing audio content. I have a live stream podcast. Most of you guys know that. Most of you guys are subscribed to my podcast. We have over 100 plus reviews on Apple. We're doing fantastic. I'm very happy and proud of the Nez Nation Live Personal Branding Podcast. Building an online brand, building an online presence, having your own website, making sure that your LinkedIn profile, which is your virtual business card, I've got a ton of videos on putting yourself out there and making sure that your LinkedIn brand is up to par. Essential. You want to future-proof your career, there's no better way than to show rather than tell. Your resume just tells. Your credentials just tell. Your diploma, your degrees, they just tell. You can 3-dimensionalize yourself by building a standout personal brand. And when I say stand out, you don't have to worry. If there's 1,000 people who are doing the same exact thing you do, maybe there's tens of millions of people doing the exact same thing that you think you're doing or you think you want to do, or in your niche or however you want to say it, or your space, you have nothing to worry about, because guess what? I know this to be capital T true. No matter how saturated, no matter how many people out there seem to be doing the exact same thing that you do, there is not one person in the entire universe. There is not one person in the entire space, in the entire ecosystem, that is going to deliver it the exact same way that you will. It's literally a physical, scientific impossibility, okay? There's only one you in the history of mankind. There's only one Professor Nez. My wife would say, thank God. In the history of mankind, there's only one of you, right? There may be people who are similar to you. They may have similar looks, similar mannerisms, similar gestures, similar age, you may even have an identical twin. There's still going to be something that differentiates you, because nobody, chromosome for chromosome, molecule for molecule, is exactly like you in the history of the universe. Think about that for a second. If you're lacking confidence in putting yourself out there, you need to understand something. You don't need to be original. You don't need to try to be like successful people. You don't need to try to be like them. You don't need to try to be like something that you're not. The only thing that you need to be is capital R, real. That's it. You just need to be yourself, period. And you will do fine, and you will win. And you will always be top of mind by putting yourself out there. It's called modern communications. That's what personal branding is. Personal branding is modern communications. You have to understand this. It's taking ownership of how you're perceived, where the attention is. And where the attention is right now. You're watching this online. Everything is happening. It's the same reason why Amazon owns the world. It's the same reason why Netflix and Hulu and Prime have Hollywood running scared. Put yourself out there. That's key. So when he says self-confidence for number 2, I would call that building a personal brand and demonstration. Okay, number 3. The number 3 way for you and step for you to future-proof your career. Never have to worry about job security for the rest of your life. Number 3, what Mr. Gotthelf mentions here, and I completely agree, and I talk about this all the time, continuous learning. I mean, this goes without saying, but you have to understand, I mean, everything is changing all the time. Nothing, I said this before, there's no way to keep on top of things. Working in the university system, and obviously one of the impetuses for me creating an online brand was because I was so disheartened, disenchanted, disappointed in the university system, because the university system goes like this, snail pace, where the world goes jet speed. Everything's changing. I mean, what you did 5 months ago is irrelevant in the modern marketplace. Everything is changing all the time. The only way to keep up, or even better yet, to even stay ahead, is to continuously keep learning. Always be learning, right? I get some of the best, why I became a podcaster, why I really have this YouTube channel, is because it's the ultimate teaching platform. It's the ultimate way for me to give back. It's the ultimate way for me to help and transform lives. Impact is greater than income. I'm not saying it's better than income. You need money. Income's important, but impact is greater than income. As a matter of fact, the more you create impact, the more income comes. Income comes. That doesn't sound right. But the more you create and transform and bring value, the money follows that. And so, you could learn a 100-year education at Harvard by listening to several podcasts in your specific niche, whatever. And trust me when I say, I don't care if you're into ceramics or, cross-pollination, or aerospace, or baseball cards, or whatever it is that you're into, okay? Gardening, there is a podcast, there is a YouTube channel dedicated to that. And there's amazing creators on these different platforms, amazing articles, blogs. There's so many ways. The University of Google and the University of YouTube trumps all these institutions. And you don't have to pay $200,000 and have college debt and college student loan debt to accrue this knowledge. And it's current. It's more current than anything you'll ever get in the university. Trust me, I've been teaching in the university system for over 20 years. I know this. All right? I am a beloved educator. I have such a respect for education. My father was a professor. My grandfather was one of the first people to start a charter school in the country. He was also a superintendent at a major school. It's in my blood. It's in my DNA. I love education. But what's happening in the institutions? Ixnay. It's a disservice to the students. The number 4 way that you can future-proof your career and never have to worry about trying to find a job or job security, Jeff talks about this thing called continuous improvement. Now, you might be thinking, Nez, well, what's the difference between continuous improvement and continuous learning? Not much, except there's something really interesting that he discusses here that I'd like to kind of share with you and give you my sort of perspective on this. And so he talks about, if you're continuously learning, you're applying the outcomes of your experiments to your platform, then you're always going to improve and get better at whatever it is that you've chosen to do to become forever employable, okay? And so he talks about this concept called enthusiastic skepticism, okay? So he says that no matter how good you believe you are at your chosen profession, being enthusiastically skeptical means you're always searching for a better way to do your job. So you want to ask these questions, being enthusiastically skeptical. What can you learn from others in your field who have been successful? What about leaders in other fields? What did they do to build their platforms that you can apply to yours? So again, it's really just all about not resting on your laurels and doing the best that you can to stay on top of your game and stay sharp. This is basically the antithesis to complacency. You do not want to be complacent. You just want to sit back and be like, well, I got it made now. I can do whatever I want. I'm the VP of sales. I'm the head project manager. I'm a director of IT or whatever. There's always somebody hungry, hustling, working hard, staying up late at night, sweating, bleeding, toiling. There's always somebody out there who's working really, really hard and staying on top of things, young and hungry and scrappy, looking to take your spot. There always is. And so the more sharp you are, the more that it's really a mindset thing, adopting that mindset of, yes, there's nothing wrong with being grateful. There's nothing wrong with appreciating where you're at. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of your labor, enjoying and celebrating your status, your position, your promotion, what have you. But that should only last so long. You got to still remain sharp. You got to still remain malleable, flexible. You got to still evolve with the times. The only constant is constancy. So the marketplace is constantly changing. If you don't adapt, if you don't evolve with the evolution that's taking place in your industry, you're toast. So continuous improvement, continuous learning, entrepreneurialism, self-confidence, putting yourself out there, absolutely key. If you really dive deep into these concepts and you really embrace what I'm trying to tell you, these are the things. That's why I'm creating this video, because I was so passionate and inspired by this. Literally, these are the precepts that I've been teaching for years, not only in my classes, my business communication courses, but also my live stream podcast that I do weekly, by the way, every Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You need to be there. I mean, for crying out loud, it's the greatest information on planet Earth to earn more money, grow smarter, and stress less in your career and your business. For crying out loud, why wouldn't you want to be there? Makes no sense. Last but not least, number 5, Jeff talks about reinvention. So what he's talking about here is ultimately becoming forever employable is all about reinventing yourself. He talks about how he was a designer and he thought that's where he was headed because of the expertise he was sharing. Other opportunities walked into his life and, he was able to seize them. And so he was reinventing himself on an ongoing basis. Nothing stands still, and the pace of change today is faster than ever. We already talked about this, right? I can say for myself, I was sort of an entrepreneurial professor, if you will, even before I started my agency, Professor Nez Consulting, and my academy, beyondtheboxacademy.com. All links you can find in the description. I felt that the ultimate life for me was going to be, becoming a tenured professor, earning $100,000, $120,000 a year, taking care of my family, teaching what I love, business writing, business communications, Aristotle, things like that. I had no clue that I would be met with so much ruthless cutthroatness and bureaucratic nightmare and just lifelessness in the hallways and byways of education. I've taught everywhere. And so I'm speaking from direct experience. Most of these institutions are capital L, lifeless. And I just couldn't, the soul inside me just couldn't take it anymore. And so I ventured out and I discovered live streaming in 2015. I discovered content creation. We started having equipment that we could carry around in our back pocket that could allow us to reach the world. And so from that, I paid attention to what was going on. This was modern communications. This was the way. This is where all the attention was. And so I adapted and I evolved with the times and I absorbed and embraced all the latest innovations and all the latest changes. And out of that came, my speaking career, my coaching career, my consulting agency, my business, teaching, educating, helping, doing workshops, helping people advance their career as an executive career coach, helping businesses and individuals build their online business and get their message out there so they can attract the right traffic and transform their lives. Reinventing yourself is about remaining malleable, remaining flexible, remaining open to what the universe gives you. I don't want to get too philosophical here because I know you're going to say, my God, here he goes. It's a bunch of BS. But I'm very pragmatic. And let me just say this, if I may. really quickly. We think that we have so much control in our lives. We think that we have, so much, influence over everything that occurs, and all the things that don't occur in our life. And the truth of the matter is, all you need to do is just remain 1,000,000,000% capital Y you and capital R real. And if you just remain open and you pay attention and you don't rest on your laurels and you don't get complacent, you will always find a way, and life will come to your aid. I promise you, I'm living proof of this stuff. There's nothing special about Professor Nez. There's nothing even original about Professor Nez. I just paid attention. That's it. I just paid attention. And with that entrepreneurial mindset, with that always be learning, always be serving mindset, with that continuously improving, continuously staying abreast in what's happening in my industry, what's happening in the world around me, opportunities arose and I capitalized on them. This stuff works. This pandemic, COVID-19, the financial collapse in 2007, the financial collapse that's probably going to happen in 2021, 2022, nothing can stop me, because I'm always going to find a way to make things work. COVID had no effect on me. My business may have dropped, but I'm totally fine, and I'm already bouncing back in August. And so I'm not saying this to say, look at me, brag. I'm saying this to inspire you. This is not just namby-pamby bumper sticker, concepts. Always be learning and continuous improvement. No. These are real things that if you embrace these, you're never going to have to worry about money. You're never going to have to worry about where you're working. You're never going to have to worry about being employed. You will truly be forever employable. And so I hope you got so much out of this video. It means the world to me that you stuck around this long. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that if you got value from this video, you obliterate that like button. It really helps us with the algorithm. And also consider subscribing. Like I said, I'm bringing out new videos every single week, 2-3 times a week, all on how to advance your career, how to grow your online business, how to get yourself out of your own way, how to share your story with the world. It's all about communication and brand messaging. Whether you want to make money, whether you want to advance your career, get a job, you want to grow, you want to build relationships, it's all about this, dude, communication. And so we talk about that all the time. It's the greatest YouTube channel on planet Earth. So you should subscribe. And by the way, if you have any questions, or maybe you have some tips yourself, hey Nez, you didn't talk about this, or hey Nez, leave some comments down below. I respond to all the comments, by the way. So leave some comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I respond to all the comments. It would mean the world to me. Leave some comments. Let me know what you thought of the video. Which concept or which way to future-proof your work seemed to make the most sense, and which one maybe didn't make sense, or if you have any questions at all. If you're looking to maybe go beyond just what I've been talking about in this video, maybe you're looking, hey Nez, I really want to actually take the next leap. I want to transform my life. I want a better life. I want to do what I love to do. I want to make more money. I want to get into a different company. You may want to consider checking out the links in the description, because I've got some ways in which you can work with me. I've also got some amazing, heart-pounding, life-changing courses, digital courses, where I walk you step by step how to build a personal brand, how to build the ultimate resume, how to build your LinkedIn profile, how to communicate your story to the world. I'll leave those links in the description down below. Thank you so much. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'll see you guys next time.